Dave, you know why I love using Zencastr?
Is it because the recording quality is better than other methods of recording a podcast virtually?
Nope.
Is it because they offer a free version for hobbyists just getting started?
No, not that.
Is it because it's super easy to use for everyone and none of our guests have ever had an issue using it?
That's not it.
Is it because they offer automatic post-production and transcription services?
Negative.
Stop burying the lead. Why do you love Zencastr?
It's because Zencastr is all of the things you just said, Dave. Well, and they sponsor this pod. That's right, Adventures in Collecting is powered by Zencastr. How about your pod? Get started now with Zencastr and use our code to start podcasting today. Visit Zencastr.com/pricing and use promo code AICPOD to get 30% off your first 3 months of their professional plan or try it for free. That's Zencastr.com/pricing and use promo code AICPOD.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls.
Along with our journeys as collectors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Hi.
Dave, it
Eric.
feels like we were just recording yesterday.
Well, technically 2 days ago, but it's close.
Hey, they don't need to know that.
Well, it's too late.
They know it now.
Yeah.
So, what am I? You know what? I just feel like I need to bury something, Dave. I feel like
I think you all are. That's the thing. I think you need to not bury something.
That's right, Dave. In the grand history and tradition of Adventures in Collecting, I am not going to bury the lead today. We are joined by a guest that if you listen to the last episode of the podcast, you heard a teeny tiny little bit of his input about a certain engine of vengeance. Joining us today for the first time on the pod, we are collecting yet another card for our Rolodex from the Hasbro team. We are joined today by none other than Dan Yoon of the Marvel Legends team. Dan, welcome to Adventures in Collecting.
Yo, what up, guys? Thank you, I should say, for inviting me. My bad, I didn't even know.
Oh, it's your show now. All right.
I'm
Go ahead.
welcoming you to my safe house. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm like surrounded by like a bunch of toys, and I just stepped on one of them. But I just want to say you guys are awesome. You guys have had other Hasbro employees here, right? And not only am I a fan of the podcast, just like as a fan, but all of my colleagues have only said great things about you guys, and it was awesome, Eric, meeting you in person for the first time in New York Comic Con. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh man, that's so many kind things. It was a pleasure meeting you on your home turf in the greatest city in the world. So yeah, and we'll get into a little bit of what I got to see on the show floor. But as this is a podcast about collecting and toy collecting, before we get started, what are you currently collecting?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, for me, I know we're talking about toys, but like I collect a lot of sneakers, to be honest. I'm still a sneakerhead. Like that's one of the things that I've when I was a kid, I could never afford. So like lately I've been just like trying to hop on some like Jordan 1s, 4s, 3s, and 11s and 13s a little bit. And I collect a lot of like soccer jerseys too, like some of the old retro stuff. So I just got like an old like Highbury, like Thierry Henry thing that I found on eBay. I don't know if those are like legit. I don't know if you guys know that, but like, I mean, I collect kind of jerseys and kits. And right now, from a toy perspective, you know, of course, obviously Marvel Legends, right? Marvel Legends. I support my other Hasbro brands too. Like I collect a Lightning collection for Power Rangers. A couple of GI Joe stuff because I think some of the animal accessories are super dope. You know what I mean, like Croc and all that. Um, let's see what else. I'm a big and don't tell this to Hasbro. I like Bandai stuff a lot, so like I collect the DBZ stuff, the Naruto stuff. I used to collect some Storm collectibles, but I kind of had to sell those. I used to collect a couple of Mayfex stuff, but now I'm like very picky. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
definitely have like Mike Jordan still, but yeah, mostly from a toys perspective, it's like Marvel Legends, anything Hasbro related. Yeah.
So wait, we got to go back to the jerseys, and because you're amongst friends here when it comes to sports memorabilia as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I have gone down the AliExpress DH gate rabbit hole for jerseys. I mean, sometimes they're just the ones I want are so hard to find that I'm
Yeah.
cool with getting the waiting 6 months for a $20 jersey to fall apart in the wash the second time I wash it. But
Yeah, I'm a big like I mean, I got into soccer like young, but like I never had the means of getting the kits, right? But some of like the old school, like even World Cup jerseys, like I
mhm.
love the France jerseys a lot, like Argentina, like Brazil. And so like once you fall in love with like the sport a little bit more and you follow some of the key players, like you can't just help but like look at those jerseys and be like, yo, I want to collect some of these kits. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
then like the international football scene was like how I got into it. But then once you go into like club sports, right? Like whether it be in the Premier League or I follow the Liga a little bit, and it's just crazy. You know what I mean? I know you two are more like MLS fans, and unfortunately, and I'm kind of guilty, but like I'm not the biggest MLS fan, so you guys will have to educate me on that. But yeah, I mean, I know like I was a Metro Stars fan, which is now the Red Bulls. So I think if I had to choose like an MLS team, I would like definitely support Red Bulls. You know what I mean?
Listen, there's an easy solution to this. We're just
Yeah.
gonna have to take you to a Red Bulls game.
Oh, yo, I'm game, man. Like I really need to get into it. Like I was supporting the Red Bulls when Thierry came in because I'm like a big Arsenal fan, you know what I mean? And like but I never got to go to see a game, you know? So yeah, I'm definitely down for that. Let's do it.
He
Yeah,
he was so much fun to watch.
he
Yeah.
was. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
I
nicest guy during the meet and greets too.
I was just about to say that one of that was like right when you've been following a little bit longer, Dave, but like, that was like right when kind of the hooks dug in for me, and those meet team nights as like a season ticket holder were one of the highlights. Like just like walking up to him and having a 45-second conversation with him, and getting a picture, and just so nice, so gracious, and I mean, dude
Mm-hmm.
is a legend. So it was a good time to get in. But yeah, we can make that happen, Dan. We
All
we
right,
always have we
let's
always
do
have
it.
extra tickets and stuff, so we can make that happen.
We
Yeah,
gotta
absolutely.
we gotta do like a Red Bulls and Revolution game maybe so that we can like maybe bring
Oh,
Dwight and Ryan, you
all
know?
right. Yeah, those have we get at least
Mm-hmm.
one of those a season. Yeah, yeah, we
Yeah.
could at the arena. We could do that. Oh man, little make them go on a little field trip. I
Mm-hmm.
like this idea. This is good. This is a developing
I'm
idea.
into it.
Dan, let's do this.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to Hasbro. How did your career take you to your role with the Marvel Legends team?
Prior to my life with Hasbro, I was in the military and I had a real big decision point in my life where, I could have continued with my military career or, I had to make a tough decision about like, getting out. And for me, it was something that I needed to pray about a lot because I really did love being in the army. I loved being an officer. I loved like that camaraderie, the just that brotherhood that I had there. And so it was a real tough decision for me. But I think I made the right choice and I applied to some business schools. I came back for a brief period to New York to do some internships, and then when I got accepted uh, to Boston University for the MBA program, I studied there. I didn't know anything about business school, to be honest. And then, but I knew one of the big things that they teach you in business school is that like the first year you need to get a summer internship, like an MBA summer internship, right? And one of the places that I was just very fortunate to get an internship with was Hasbro. And so Hasbro used to have this MBA internship where they would get like full time MBA students from like a wide variety of like MBA programs. Like, so you had people from like Dartmouth, Cornell, Northeastern, and they would be put into these brands. And once like a 3 month period was over, if you showed your skills and your acumen, things of that nature, they selected you and they offered you a full time, offer so that after you complete your MBA, you can come back. And so my introduction to Hasbro was I was on Monopoly and US Games, which was so much fun. Like that culture with games brands at that time was super, super fun. Like I didn't know if I wanted to be on another brand besides gaming because like that it was competitive. Everybody was always positive. Everyone was like always having a blast. You know what I mean? And that office specifically in Providence, they always had a culture of like pranking people and stuff like that. And it was just so much fun. You know what I mean? As an intern. And then so in my mind, when I got the offer, I was like, oh man, I'm definitely, gonna go back to games. Little did I know that, I don't even have a choice on what brand I get put on. You know what I mean? Like they so in my mind, I was like, all right, I'm ready for Hasbro. Like, okay, if they put me in a brand, maybe they'll put me on something cool, like, Marvel, Star Wars, Transformers. And the brand that they chose for us was like Baby Alive, right? And which is totally different, man. Like, it's not
Yeah.
something that I'm used to. Like, I never grew up with baby dolls, and I was never surrounded by like the end consumer of Baby Alive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
honestly, my first reaction to getting that full time offer at Hasbro at Baby Alive, I was a little hesitant. Um, but no, it was like the best decision of my life because Baby Alive not only helped me grow as a marketer, because it forced me to adapt and learn about a whole different consumer that I'm not familiar with. It helped me learn about the toy industry. It helped me learn about product development from, the beginning all the way to the end, that whole life cycle. And yeah, Baby Alive is actually super innovative in how they try to like come up with new toyetic kind of activations for each doll. So there was like a doll that had like an IR code kind of thing on like the forehead, so that like when a scissor accessory moved on the forehead, like the hair, the bangs would look like it would be cut. So it was like all this like really cool innovative stuff in like a $20 doll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was such an awesome team to just learn from. Um, so I need to rewind. Before I got into Baby Alive though, like I was kind of a nerd and I was like, yo, listen, I don't really have that much toy experience, so I took actually a part-time gig with Nerf because I kind of told my Hasbro contacts at the time, like, hey, I know I got accepted, but I still want to learn more. And so I actually spent 6 months at Nerf too. So for me, like even before getting on Marvel Legends, I had experience from games, Baby Alive, and Nerf, and all those experiences were awesome. Um, but in my heart of hearts, like the brand that I really, really wanted, other than gaming at the time, was Marvel, just because like, I was just so into Marvel. Um, and so at the time in Hasbro, it's like it's really about networking and like making sure the senior leadership team knows like if there's an available spot on a certain brand that they know your name, they know your face. And so for me, I had to network with a senior person who was in charge of all action brands at the time. And, I just like annoyed him basically every week to be like, hey, can I meet with you? Can I like tell you my story and how much I'm a nerd for Marvel, right? And I really think that if there's any spot available, I would love it, right? And, and so one day I go to Barcelona. It's my first time ever in Barcelona. My girlfriend surprised me with like this trip, and she knows how much I love soccer, right? And that day, FC Barcelona was playing, I think, Olympiacos or somebody in the Champions League, and I saw Messi score like 2 goals, give an assist, right? And I thought like this is like the best day of my life, right? I went to Barcelona, went to see the Sagrada Familia, saw a Champions League game, and like we were like front row, like I'm like seeing Messi, like I could see him breathing, like you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
after immediately after that game, like that night when we're walking back to our hotel, I get like a voicemail from WhatsApp, right? And I never really use WhatsApp. And it's like this random number, and it's like, "Hey Dan, this is blank. Like, I don't usually call people on their vacation, but there's this opening on Marvel Legends, and I really want you to be on my team." And once I got that voicemail, like I called him back, and I was like, "Yes, please let me be on Marvel Legends." And yeah, that was the beginning of my journey in Marvel Legends. It was like one of the best days of my life. I keep telling that to everybody. I've shared the story like to other people before, but yeah, I genuinely mean it that like it was one of the best days of my life. Just because like, I was with the love of my life. I was in this beautiful city of Barcelona. I got to see Messi, which was with one of my favorite teams. And yeah, it was started my whole journey with Marvel Legends. It was really by luck and by God's grace. So yeah.
Dude,
That's
that's
awesome.
that's an awesome story. So
That's an
so
amazing story.
first off, I know I've said this to you before, but thank you for your service.
No, no,
Yes,
no,
thank you so
no.
much.
No, no, no.
Um, but second of all, there actually is something that I would love to ask you. That
Okay.
has something that has come up, and I just kind of thought about it now. But when you were in the service, were you also still kind of like actively collecting? Because the reason why I asked this is I know we have a few followers who are, and listeners actually who are in active duty, and we get messages, from time to time that say like, thank you, especially when we post pictures of like the toy aisles and everything. So like the those who are deployed see those pictures, and sometimes we get messages like, "Hey, thank you so much for posting this. Makes me feel at home. I miss going up and down the toy aisle and everything," which I think is really sweet. And part of the reason why we love doing this is connecting with people. So it's amazing. But
Yeah.
when you are deployed, like did you have a way to like continue collecting? Like were you still like getting Marvel Legends at that time? Like were you finding ways to like order them and have them like waiting for you at home? Like what was that like?
No, so like to be honest with you, like I couldn't collect at all, and I was just like, because when you're an officer, at least for me in my mindset, and I'm just like really bad at multitasking too. Like I was just so gung ho and focused on like being the best officer I could be, right? And so I had to like drop a lot of the hobbies that I used to have, because collecting in itself takes up so much time, and so I never like once I became a commissioned officer, I just I kind of became boring and like I dropped all of my other like loves and habits and I guess I just like trained my body, did some jujitsu, some boxing and things of that nature, that like those type of hobbies. And yeah, I kind of fell off of all things. Like I mean I watched and I read some comics, but yeah, once I became like a full-time officer, I was just like fully invested in how I can make myself the best officer possible, if that makes sense. So sorry to disappoint you there.
Hey, your focus is admirable. I
Yeah,
just
for sure.
I was just curious because I mean you're half a world away from from home, and I was just curious. So
No, but
thank you
like
for humoring me.
no, 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 no. But I will say though, like definitely in some of the forward operating bases, they were like USO kind of like outpost kind of things, right? And that's where like the Skypes were there and like people could talk to their loved ones. But like in this corner of every USO, there was like a section of like board games. You know what I mean? Like so there would be a Monopoly. There'd be like things that like servicemen and women could just spend some time like blowing off steam. And I will say like some of those games were like the best parts of like being in Afghanistan, at least. You know what I mean? So in that sense, like anytime people brought toys, like actually, because like some of my soldiers actually did. I don't know if they were like hardcore collectors, but they would like look into that kind of stuff. So they would use their internet time to like look at stuff like that and or just play board games. So I mean, I know some people do that. It just wasn't me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So speaking of the toys themselves, and and going back to some of the things that we saw at New York Comic Con, let's talk about this HasLab. So,
All right.
what led the team to decide on Ghost Rider as the subject for the latest project?
Yeah, so I think so. There are a lot of different stakeholders, not just myself, Dwight, and Ryan, when it comes to deciding anything. Obviously, Marvel's involved in it too. I think for us, we knew that we couldn't top a HasLab like Galactus in terms of just like scale and like I guess like IP popularity. Like for me, and I think for Ryan too, like the Sentinel and Galactus were like for sure gonna fund because just on their like brand alone of a Sentinel and a Galactus, it would make sense. You know what I mean? And so I think we were challenged as a team. And we also incorporated a new HasLab team um, that was not really involved in Galactus and Sentinel too. And so we were just trying to find new innovative ways to kind of like see what we can do, right? And I think vehicles is something that we've been wanting to do for quite some time. If you look at GI Joe and Star Wars, they're like very much like vehicle based brands, and so we kind of wanted to take our first foray into vehicles. And because Ghost Rider also from a marketing standpoint was having an anniversary, we really wanted to incorporate Ghost Rider in there. I personally already was familiar with Robbie Reyes as a character, and I thought he was a good idea. We already put out, multiple motorcycles with Johnny Blaze, and yeah, we just thought that, you know, Robbie Reyes and this Engine of Vengeance would make sense in terms of timing. And yeah, we really also wanted to find a way to kind of put out this opportunity for these demon characters too, like a Mephisto, like a Goblin Queen. And so we just thought that would be the best way to go.
Yeah, and I mean it is an interesting problem to have, right? When a Sentinel and and Galactus, like you mentioned, the prior two projects are generally speaking centerpiece
Yeah,
products,
yeah,
right? Whether
yeah.
whether you're an X-Men collector, whether you're whether you do kind of the 90s animated stuff, the Sentinel fits right in there. And then Galactus being such a Jack Kirby piece for so many collectors, they really are kind of crowd pleasers. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's en masse things that Marvel Legends collectors have been wanting for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, I, mean, I could see how you guys are kind of put in a
And
a hard spot to follow that up.
yeah, and like to be honest with you, and I know this might sound laughable to the normal like collector, but we were really considerate about not doing a project that would cost way too much. So for instance, like just because like a lot of people are taking like older objects as like the comparable item to like this Engine of Vengeance, right? And they're saying the price point or whatever is too high, which I can totally understand and see their point of view. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like during this development stage process, any Galactus, which we sold for I think like close to $400, right? Like that
Mhm.
price for a Galactus at the time that we're developing now, based on the parameters that we have, it would have been over $500. So let's say like we chose like a different, like larger than life kind of character, like even a Sentinel, like that, based on the parameters that we have now, it would definitely be over what everybody is thinking. And so one of the other reasons why we did choose this vehicle was because we didn't think it was going to hurt consumers as much on the wallet. But obviously, the fans are, making it known that that might not have been the right decision too. But yeah, I still think there's a lot of great value in the Engine of Vengeance, and hopefully people come out to support it. And yeah, nobody's forcing anybody. I know there's a lot of negativity towards it if I'm being transparent with you and honest with you guys, right? But yeah, if especially people who saw it in person in New York Comic Con, I think they can kind of see the value of the price point and things of that nature.
Yeah, the one thing I personally will say is that it looks and this sounds stupid. Like, I understand this sentence sounds stupid, but it looks like a car. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, like, it looks like a car. Like, it doesn't look like a toy car. It looks like a tiny real car. And in terms of just kind of even like the finish, how the light plays off of it, like, it doesn't look like a plastic car toy. It
Hmm.
looks like somebody took a little like a hell charger and put it in front of the Honey I Shrunk the Kids drinking rack, and
yeah,
it's now in a glass case.
and
Yeah, and I
all
was thinking that too with all the tooling and everything, like just from having seen it in the launch video, like I was like, wow, this is there's a lot to this.
yeah, and like a lot. I just want to shout out like this new HasLab team that did a lot of the work on the vehicle itself. So Dwight did design most of the car too, but there's a new HasLab team that like I don't know if they feel comfortable with me saying their names, but like either way, like they incorporated a lot of their inputs into the car itself, and they deserve so much credit for all the details that are inside of it. And yeah,
What can you tell us about the project that's may not be something people already know about the development process? And I know you kind of gave a couple looks inside, just kind of talking about the HasLab itself. But what's really something that you know, even besides that, people wouldn't know just by kind of taking like kind of an overhead view of it?
I think some misconceptions that people have is that like we've already tooled the vehicle, like and made like cut steel and tooled the vehicle, right? And that's not really the case at all. So we only start tooling of the items once the crowdfund like funds or meets its goal. So what you saw there at New York Comic Con is actually just like two like homegrown like prototypes, Eric. So like we haven't really cut steel for the tooling. I think there was some like when I was like reading some of the boards, like they were saying, "Oh, they've already tooled it and whatever," but that's not the case. So I guess that's one misconception there. Uh, what else should I say that some people might not know? I just think like people have this misconception that these decisions get made by just like a handful of people. It's actually a lot of people. So like when it comes to making decisions of like pivoting for like tiers or things of that nature, or even just like a social post about HasLab, it takes like a whole village to get approval for. So I think sometimes when people are like, why don't they just like do X, Y, and Z like right now? Like nothing is very like that quick, unfortunately, when it comes to like making a decision. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that answers the question though.
No, totally. And
Absolutely.
you know, while we're clearing stuff up, something else that I saw pop up in the comments from just our coverage of New York Comic Con, just because I saw it organically happen. Um, Danhausen was not a paid spot. And
Oh
people in
yeah,
the comments were trying to say that like you guys hired Danhausen to come and
no,
promote the project.
no,
Now, Danhausen is a big Marvel Legends collector.
Yeah, and he
yeah,
just like he was just being Danhausen and wanted to come and look at the look at the engine of vengeance.
yo,
I watched it happen.
yo, shout out to Danhausen, like for real, because like, yeah, like you said, I think I did see some of those comments too that like we paid like anybody to like promote it and stuff like that. But honestly, we're just so fortunate and lucky to have people like an eclectic group of collectors, right? So you have people like from Taboo and Pharaoh Monch all the way to Danhausen or to Brian Hoyer, like all walks of life. Like we have so many different type of collectors out there for Marvel Legends, and Danhausen was just a real avid collector who genuinely loves to collect Marvel Legends. And he once he saw the project, he was like, "Listen, I really want to just like be a part of it and just see it. So can I just come through to see it and post stuff about it?" And we were like, "Yes, of course." And honestly, like since I'm not like the biggest wrestling guy like on the team, like that's like Dwight and like Ben and Ryan, right? So like I always felt bad for Dwight because you know I've been bringing a lot of people like Pharoah Monch or Taboo, like with a hip hop background, and so I was like, I got to try to give somebody that's like a wrestling background to kind of like make sure Dwight feels happy too. You know what I mean? So I think Dwight was really nerding out to meet Danhausen. He was super pumped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell he
Yeah.
was
You could
enjoying
see from
himself.
the video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So one last thing about the HasLab before we move on to some other things, but should this project not get funded, and let's all, I think we're all in agreement that we want it to certainly get funded.
Yes, absolutely.
What is the likelihood that we see Robbie, the Goblin Queen, or Mephisto in these looks, or frankly any other incarnation, come to the Legends line in the future?
Yeah. So with these type of questions, I always feel like I need to clarify that my answer is based on this point in time, right? So at this point in time, um, basically from me, Dwight, and Ryan, our perspective is like if it doesn't get funded, we don't believe that there will be another chance for Mephisto and Madeline at least to be made again, especially not in the forms that we showed. Let's say, for instance, though, like, and please don't quote me on this in the sense that like I know nothing about the MCU, right? But let's say like 10 years from now, like Mephisto is like the main villain of something, right? Like we might, based on that, be told to like make a Mephisto figure based on the MCU. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be like different than what you're seeing in, the HasLab project right now. And we try to set like a very clear precedent that whatever is a tier or unlock in 6-inch form for a HasLab, it won't be made again. And that's because we want to keep those things like precious. But in specific to the Goblin Queen and Mephisto, yeah, we're not able to activate on those characters in any other form outside of HasLab. And that's something that I feel like people are missing. Like I keep seeing comments that like just put out Mephisto in a deluxe format, but like there's a specific reason why we chose to do this Ghost Rider and these demonic characters, and that's because we thought it's better to give you guys an opportunity to at least try to get these guys and the Goblin Queen instead of not having that ability at all. So you will not see Madeline in like that look, I would say, unless it's within this HasLab. Hopefully that wasn't confusing, but yeah.
No, I think you said a lot there. So I think
hmm
for those of you listening that may require additional clarification, listen to that again and read between the lines. I think that's really what it boils down to there, because
Everything means exactly what you think it means.
exactly.
So yeah, like, and again, like I say this with the clarifier of like this is just what I know right now, and I don't really. I'm like Jon Snow. I know nothing. You know what I mean? So like, let's say if something changes like down the line, um, it could change. But based on what I believe, what Ryan believes, and what Dwight believes, like this is the only opportunity for you to get those kind of characters in those type of looks, if that makes sense.
So, keeping in Ghost Rider, because Ghost Rider is my favorite Marvel character.
Yep.
You do have
So
a
what
tattoo, Dave. You have
I do,
a
I do.
Ghost Rider
Dang,
tattoo.
nice, man. You guys show me that in person one day.
Yeah, for sure. At the game.
Yo, for real.
So, whether it's more retro cards or other Spirits of Vengeance, are there further plans for Ghost Rider in the future of Marvel Legends beyond the HasLab?
Yeah, so definitely, I think, one of the characters that we definitely want to put out there is Danny. I think Danny, one of the reasons why we didn't want to put Danny and his bike as like a tier, like I know that was like one of the theories early on, is because we feel like there will be a lot of mainline appetite for Danny Ketch. And so I think maybe not in the near future, but definitely in the future, we will see Danny at some point and some of the other Spirits of Vengeance potentially. But I'll be also honest with you, like based on how this HasLab goes too, that might also get impacted as well. You know what I mean? So like hopefully people could read between the lines there as well for that answer. But yeah, like I think we do have plans for it, but I don't know how near future those characters will come out, if that makes sense.
Well, let's hope you get the opportunity to put some more characters on that beautifully designed Toy Biz inspired retro Ghost
I
Rider card back, man.
Yeah, I'm a big retro card like 6 inch collector. So when we had the opportunity to make the Ghost Rider card, I think me and Dwight were like nerding out. Like we love that card, and yeah, we definitely want to hopefully have the opportunity to put some more characters on that card.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I'm thinking like, okay, do I need two?
Yeah, man, one in, one out. Come on.
Yeah. Because I still have a couple of my old Toy Biz my like originally on from that card, my Danny and human Johnny Blaze, but like yeah, it's Johnny Blaze with the mullet and the trench coat. Like that
Yo.
I love that. I have such a great memory of those figures. I seeing that card was like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah, and like honestly, like I've been going back on eBay to like get some of the original like Toy Biz 5 inch stuff for like Spider-Man, X-Men and stuff like that. And like putting those next to like the 6 inch ones that we've been putting out recently, like it really makes the shelf look awesome. Like at least for me. You know what I mean? So not that I'm saying you should do that, but I'm just saying it just looks nice. You know what I mean?
Shouts to Harry Moore design on those
Yo, straight
cards.
up, Harry, yo.
Crushing it.
He's awesome. He's
And
awesome.
if there's one thing I don't need, it's definitely prodding to go back and do that with those Ghost Rider figures. So
Pay off
yeah,
of eBay.
I definitely don't need to be told that's a good idea.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom and pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at 106 Main Street in Little Falls, New Jersey, or online at chubsywubsy.com. That's CHUBZYWUBZZY.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
Hop into a new career with CGC, the world leader in pop culture collectibles grading. CGC is seeking world-class Funko Pop experts to lead a new division dedicated to authenticating and grading collectible toys. This is an incredible opportunity to help build a new grading service in a hot collectibles category. Think you can play the part? Apply today at cgcgrading.com/careers. That's cgcgrading.com/careers.
And now, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. The world we live in is full of challenges, and that can make it difficult to focus on what really matters. We've all been raised to appreciate the importance of taking care of our bodies, but what about our minds? Talking to a therapist can help identify stressors, learn to healthily manage them, and lead to a more confident and productive mind. BetterHelp is an affordable, accessible, and flexible online solution to your mental health care needs. After taking a brief survey, BetterHelp will match you with a therapist, and you could switch at any time. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/AIC today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/AIC.
And now, back to the show.
During PulseCon, the team announced that Spider-Man the Animated Series is getting the VHS treatment in 2023. What was the thought behind the pivot, and what does it mean for the Spider-Man retro card line?
So I love the Spider-Man animated series. I kind of go back and forth every day. It's like a toss-up between if I like that series more or the X-Men animated series. But I love both of them dearly to my heart. I think strategically, one of the reasons why we put a pause on the VHS line was because the VHS line currently, to this point in time, is a Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney exclusive. And strategically, we know that we have, an X-Men 97 show coming up in Disney Plus, right? And I think we just wanted to take a pause to see what it's going to be like. And hopefully, I think that show is going to be awesome on Disney Plus, right? And yeah, we kind of wanted to just take a little pause and go to the Spider-Man animated series because we saw a lot of success with that. And so, yeah, we wanted to bring another subline for Hasbro Pulse and Shop Disney and just change it up a little bit with Spider-Man the animated series. It's one of those, like, every day when we have these like rap battles or breakdance battles with characters, it's like Dwight already knows, like, I have like 3 characters from the TV show that I really wanted. And I will say, I think at least 2 of them are going to be in the 2023 line. So stay tuned. And I don't know, what do you guys like the cartoon, or is it not for you, or
That's literally my favorite animated. It's for me, my 2 favorite animated series from when I was a kid are the Spider-Man one and Batman the animated series. Those are my
Nice.
2 favorite. Those are the ones I cut my teeth on. They're actually what got me into reading comics. We're watching those shows. I love the animated style. I loved the Toy Biz and Kenner figures that paired with them. And honestly, it's what gets me to break out of the bulk of my Marvel Legends collection being MCU. The Spider-Man the animated series stuff gets me every single time.
Nice. So I gotta get you with the VHS 2 pack, man.
Oh,
So that'd be great.
as soon as I
Yeah.
saw that Venom and Carnage on there, I mean, I already have I had the PulseCon Venom from, was it 2 years ago? But as soon as I saw that VHS art with the 2 of them on there, and especially it looking like a double VHS, I literally was just kind of like, God damn it, come on, man.
Yeah, for me it was X-Men, but like Spider-Man was right up there too. Um
Yeah,
X-Men, I'm a little bit older, so X-Men was first, but yeah, that was those 90s Marvel shows were awesome.
I even love the
yo,
Hulk one.
you didn't, or you did love
I
the Hulk
did. I
ones?
loved the Hulk
Oh,
one. Yeah.
it was all right to me. Like, I think I forgot about when your first question was like, what do you collect? Like, I do collect anything that is like Batman the animated series, like, inspired. You know what I mean? So like anything that DC has on that, like, because I love that show too. Like, I just think in the '90s we had such great like cartoons. It's so hard to like list them all or like rank them. That's why like it flip flops for me all the time. But like Spider-Man the animated series, X-Men the animated series, Batman the animated series. I think that Superman one is like really underrated too.
Big time.
Um,
Mhm.
Fox Kids just had it. It was where it was at.
yeah,
That Fox Kids programming.
they just killed it. Yo, and my bad. So to answer the second part of the question, yeah, I can confirm that the retro card Spider-Man line is not dead.
Okay. Because I think
So
that was one of the assumptions that people saw that you guys announced that the VHS was shifting that way. So I think a lot of people were concerned that meant at least a temporary pause on the retro cards.
yeah, so I think that's a good way of saying it. There might be a slighter delay, but I will ease any concerns that if they had about like the retro card line dying for Spider-Man. I do believe I could confirm that.
Well, there you go. Um, and as I just mentioned, going from animated series to MCU for a minute, the primary focus of my Marvel Legends collection, I'm actually almost complete. Only missing a few MCU Legends, believe it or not.
Dang.
Um, but we're seeing newer characters like Jimmy Woo, which is awesome. I love the fact that we're getting some of these ancillary characters. But going back, we haven't seen characters like a Whiplash or even like the Chitari Warriors yet. Um, is it harder for you guys to go back and get the rights to do older figures or older characters like that now? Or is it something that's available and you're kind of just waiting for the right time to slot it in, like when you had those special executions for like the 20th anniversary of the and the 10th anniversary kind of lines?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the character, it depends on the actor, and it depends on all of the the business stakeholders that we have to work with. I don't know if harder is the right adjective. I think it's just like a case by case basis, and that's when we have to really work very very closely with like our older brother Jesse Falcon, and in helping us in terms of activating stuff. I do think that we saw success with the Infinity Saga program. Hopefully, you guys liked it, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, I think we saw great success with that, and hopefully, we can activate something like that without having to wait like 20 years for an anniversary. So, like, yeah, like I think there will be more opportunities, and hopefully, you guys won't have to wait that long. Um, but yeah, it's really just a case by case basis. There, each actor sometimes has different rights, and it's harder not because of the specific character necessarily, but it's harder because we just have to find the right delicate balance of how many items we want dedicated to like the new upcoming entertainment versus like what we want for like let's say an animated series line or a comic line or things of that nature. You know what I mean? Because we don't have an infinite amount of items, so we always just need to find every year like that delicate balance of what we can do. And to be transparent, like the complexity of the character also impacts the choices too. You know what I mean? From a tooling perspective. And so that also is greatly impacting how characters get selected.
Hey, listen, the way that I look at it from that perspective is you guys managed to get the Ironmonger out there, and that thing has like hydraulics. So the
Yeah.
way that I look at it is anything is possible.
Yeah. No, I mean that's one of Dwight's favorite ones that we did from that year. So he put in all that love in there, and you could definitely see it. And yeah, I was kind of questioning how that was gonna work, but like he like killed it. Him and our engineer, they just killed it. I love that figure.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So to now we're gonna kind of a lot of people will be happy about this, but we're not. So we are all mutual Mets commiserators right now.
Yeah.
But now that Hasbro is dipping its toes into starting lineup, what are the chances that we get a future New York Comic Con exclusive Spider-Man in a DeGrom jersey or Lindor, whomever?
Yo, man, like let's take 2 seconds just to be like, whew, this season, man, the way that we ended, I'm still recovering. And I know we talked about it before, recording this, but like, man, I'm still
How do you
like
win 101 games and not make playoffs?
I'm still in
Well,
I
pain.
it's the
just,
playoffs. No, that's the playoffs. The
well,
playoffs
yeah,
were made.
yeah, I know.
It's oh man.
That's that's one thing I will this now with this new format, like the one and done wildcard game, since it's a series, it is the playoffs.
Sure.
oh man.
But I'll be fine sometime around like April 3rd, I think.
Yo, for real. I'm
These
just trying to I'm,
Mets.
I'm just trying to get it out of my system. But yeah, like also like I pray that DeGrom stays, man. If we lose DeGrom, I'm gonna be so sad. But either way, yeah, starting lineup is dope, and I would love to get Spidey in a Mets jersey. That would be like a dream come true. I think, to be honest, like the possibility of that is very very low, right? But yeah, that would be like a dream figure. I think. I think the question would be like, which jersey would he rock? Like, you know what I mean? Like that in itself, I think would take me like weeks to just try to like pitch. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
it depends on what era of Spidey you're making too. I mean, like,
that's true. That is
Yeah,
true.
because MCU Spidey has the Mike Piazza pennant in his room.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. No, that's a good one. Oh man,
So what do you
that,
think? Do you think Tom Holland is like, or Tom Holland's Peter Parker is like low key like a Turk Wendell guy?
that'd be
Like,
amazing. With his what chain did he wear? Like what kind of chain was that again that he used to wear? Oh,
It was
that
teeth of some sort. I
yeah,
yeah,
forget.
it was like shark teeth or something
yeah, I
like
think
that.
it
Oh
was. I think it was
man,
Shark Teeth. Yeah, he's low key a Turk Wendell guy.
how do you guys feel about the black jerseys? Be honest.
I hate them.
Really? You
Yeah, not
hate
a
them?
fan. Not a fan.
So I loved them when I was I love them in the era, like the original kind of debut era of them, because we were good then.
Yeah,
And then, once City Field open, I was like, all right, this to me is like now a bygone era in a way.
gotcha.
So let's kind of take it back to classic and then kind of build something new. So
I
I actually love the blue jerseys.
I was gonna say
really,
those are my favorite. My favorite are the blue with the orange piping.
really, all
Yeah.
right. So I'm about to disagree with you guys. I really like the black jerseys, only maybe because it's for nostalgic reasons, where like
Yeah.
I have like good memories, at least a little bit, right?
That's the same reason the 86 are my favorite of all time, those
Mm,
jerseys.
Yeah, I
that's
mean, when I close my eyes and think of Mike Piazza or Robin Ventura, like I picture them in the black jerseys, like
yeah.
without question.
Like
But not gonna
I'm one
lie,
of
they
those,
come
like,
on.
every era needs its own thing.
Gotcha. Okay, I
I
I
like
could
that they're
see that.
back. I like them as a throwback idea, but you know,
I
I
think
wouldn't wear them in the playoffs again after the last 2 games they wore them.
I think the
That's
other thing that bothers me about the jerseys is that like the idea that the jerseys they wore when I was a kid are now old enough to be throwbacks, I think makes me really uncomfortable.
I feel you. No, I feel you. All right. Well, I'm
Like
sorry.
My Lindor T-shirt is the black T-shirt, so that's
Dan, you have opened up a can of worms here, my friend.
No, I apologize in advance for the podcast listeners because we're just gonna be talking about sports for like another hour. But yeah, no, like to answer the question, yeah, I would love Spider Man rocking a Mets jersey. Um, it probably won't ever happen, but yeah, I will put that in my rap battles with Dwight and the rest of the team.
Hey,
And we'll,
as soon as that, I mean, right now we officially have, the starting lineup is officially announced NBA and teased the NFL is coming soon. So once that Major League Baseball Players Association contract goes through, that's when you start, that's when you throw the cardboard down in front of Dwight and you start breakdancing in front of him for it.
I'll be honest with you though, like if starting lineup does open up another like, and I honestly don't know, like if they open up another like sport, like I want the Premier League, man. I want the Liga. Like I would love like a Messi figure, like obviously in his Barcelona jersey, but like I would love like a Thierry Henry in like his Arsenal kit, like that would be dope. What about you?
It would be great timing wise for the. I mean, I don't think they'd be able to get something together quick. I mean, who knows? But with the World Cup coming up, I mean, that would be
yeah,
That'd be
national
timing
team
dope.
jerseys.
would be
That'd be
awesome.
dope. That'd be dope.
Pick a couple of countries because what the first wave of those basketball ones, what is there, 7, 8 figures?
Yeah.
Pick different countries and pick a star from each country.
Are you guys collecting starting lineup? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like, are you guys NBA fans? Like, how are you guys feeling about starting lineup?
So personally, I am not a fan of players. I'm a fan of teams. And
Gotcha.
the NBA is is actually the only major sport that I don't follow.
Got it. Got it.
You can come at me when there's a Kenyon Martin and a Jason Kidd and a Kerry
Oh,
Kittles. When when we get deep enough to go back to that team, you'll have my buy-in. But
get some Keith Van Horn in for you.
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, yeah.
yep, let's do it.
I the Knicks are bad, man. Like
Oh
they
man, yo man, I don't know if
every
I
time I
can
get
for this
hope and I'm
podcast.
like, oh, I could start like really following this again, then they're just not good.
I'm about to open up a beer right now, man. This is depressing now.
Yeah, you guys. I mean,
However,
I'm the odd one out here.
Derek Harper is one of my favorite basketball players. Like, of course, Jordan. Everybody likes Jordan.
No,
But
man, screw Jordan. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, I know he's the greatest of all time, but and I love his shoes, but as a Knick fan, I just hated him so much. That's all. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's I respected being that we could never get past the best player of all time. Like,
true that. My bad. I
I'd mess
am
I'd
like,
mess with a Ewing figure if that I mean,
that,
absolutely.
that'd be so good. That'd be so. I want like a Sprewell figure where he's choking out the coach. Like,
Oh my goodness.
Latrell
that'd be dope.
Sprewell. That's a name I have not thought of. That's a name I have not
All
heard in
right,
a
we're
long
we're
time.
really diverging, so I apologize, podcast
No,
audience.
this is still all toy stuff. But no. So to answer your question, um, I'm not getting starting lineup figures yet. I'm very excited for the football announcement
Hmm.
because I happen to be I feel like I am very well positioned for somebody who has who I think is a very good likelihood of winding up in that first wave because I am a Baltimore Ravens fan. Um,
Whoa,
so yeah,
really?
that's the weird non-local team that I root for, but which I'll I'll tell you that story offline. We won't go
It's
into
a
that
long
on the pod. It's a
story.
long story, but
Gotcha.
I think I'm well positioned as a Ravens fan because I think if they are going to make you know another wave of 8 or so figures, I would venture to guess based on jersey sales alone that Lamar Jackson has a good shot of being in that first group, and
I
that
am
I
a
will absolutely get.
I am a Bears fan, so I will not.
Oh,
Yep, yep.
that's
You're left out there, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah.
wait. So I'm so confused. Wait, how are you? All right, we gotta talk offline about this, but
Well,
okay.
Dave's is
Yeah.
an easy answer.
Mine is easy.
Yours is very
I was 4 years old when they were in the Super Bowl.
Got it.
Super
Got it.
Bowl
Got it.
shuffle,
Got it.
baby, all
Yeah.
day.
Got it.
That was very influential.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That
Yep,
makes sense.
yep. You fell victim to very early influencer marketing.
Yes.
Yo, man, if they do Ravens, man, I would love a Ray Lewis figure that could do the dance. That'd be dope. You know
I
what I mean?
I have my McFarlane Ray Lewis in his all blacks doing the dance right
Nice.
literally directly to my left at this very moment. So
That's dope. That's dope. All right, cool, cool, cool.
so speaking of other fandoms, this is another blue sky question for you, just because I think this could be fun. We know you're a big hip hop guy. If you could team up any one artist with any one Marvel hero for a Marvel Legends 2-pack of your dreams, who would it be? Who would you put together?
This is so hard because I don't know if I want to do it based on like my affinity for the hip hop artist or like just from a toyetic perspective. I think like from a toyetic perspective, I would love like a Snoop Dogg figure with like Deadpool maybe because they both have so many like versions of themselves. So like it would be like a deluxe mega 2-pack because like there'd be so many different like outfits that they could do. It could be like a whole wave of just like Snoop and Deadpool. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like and they like and I don't want to say anything that would get me fired, but like yeah, like the amount of cool accessories.
that's what I was just gonna say. The accessories would be really interesting in that
Yeah, yeah,
2-pack.
yeah, you know what I mean? It would be fun. But and another team up I think that I would love is like DMX with like World War Hulk. Like cuz you know how like Hulk just like gets like more and more powerful as like with anger, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like DMX was not even like I'll be honest, like rest in peace DMX, but like he wasn't like the best rapper, right? Like he wasn't the best lyricist or anything like that, but like he was like pure energy.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? He was like pure emotion, you know what I mean? And like that would be a cool 2-pack and I've been selfishly wanting to get like a World War Hulk figure in the line somehow, so that'd be
And
dope.
imagine that the way that the world gets a World War Hulk figure is you also need a DMX figure to go with it.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So with that, we're gonna head into our Q&A section here. So as is always the case when we have a guest, we post on Instagram that said guest is coming on the show. And we give our listeners and followers a chance to ask some questions. So if you want to ask questions for an upcoming episode of Adventures in Collecting, make sure you're following us at AIC_podcast on Instagram and keep an eye out for those posts because they're pretty regular these days. Um, Dave, do you want to do the first one?
Sure. So friend of the pod, Khalil at Caster's Corner asks, with Marvel Legends being out for so long now, do you think there will be any long-term negative impact or potential collector fatigue from going back to re-release figures with improved features or deco?
Shout out to Khalil. I haven't talked with him in a while, but yeah, shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing well, healthy, and everything. Thank you for the question. I mean, I don't know what long term negative impact. I think that's harsh or hard to really determine. I would say anytime we try to re-release like a character, we try very hard to spread out the amount of time it is. You know what I mean? Like the today when we're recording this, we kind of revealed like sort of a re-release of like an old Moon Knight figure, right? And I think it's one of the real rare ones where we didn't do too much new to it, right? But it was very like high in the secondary market, and it just like that popularity of the character, it made sense for us to re-release that figure, and it's been like a while. Like, I think it came out in 2017, right? So we're constantly not battling, but we're constantly trying to find that delicate balance of how to like appease to new collectors or the long-term hardcore collectors out there. Hopefully it's not like a negative impact, because like if you already have it and you feel like you don't need to buy it, like you can just move on from it. I'm sure within the line, if that specific item is not for you, we will definitely put out another Marvel Legend that is dedicated and targeted toward those longtime collectors. But I would say every time that we try to re-release figures, we also try to improve either the deco or add in some accessories. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. But yeah.
All right. So this next one comes from actually a bunch of different people. So this was by far the most popular question. Um, is there any chance that retro carded releases in the future can ship in Psyoc boxes, especially when it comes to ones that are sold at Walmart?
Thank you for the question, mass amount of folks. I definitely understand the issues that sometimes collectors get, especially when you pre-order online from certain places. And as a collector myself, I normally always try to pre-order all of our Legends figures just because I'm kind of crazy and I kind of want to experience it firsthand. So, and I have personally experienced firsthand how sometimes retro carded figures, the card back gets like stomped on or folded, and it pisses me off too. You know what I mean? Um, I will say though that anytime that a Psyoc box is created, there is an additional cost to it, and it's like a very much business discussion that needs to take place with multiple stakeholders, whether it be the retailer, whether it be our side, whether it be all these other behind the scenes type of players. But I will say, anytime that there is a Psyoc box, there's an additional cost to that, and whether or not that gets passed to the end consumer is up for debate sometimes too. So if you're willing to pay extra for a Psyoc box, then just know that would have to be the reality.
And I'm just realizing as I put this question out there, in case those of you that don't know what a Psyoc box is, it's that
True.
yeah, it's that brown shipper box that sometimes and it's not something that's unique to specifically unique to Hasbro. I mean, other companies like if you're a wrestling figure collector, if you recently got the new gen Ultimate ring, or you've ordered an Ultimate Edition figure from Amazon, that kind of brown shipper box just adds an extra layer of cardboard to your delivery. But good to know that about the cost there. Dave, go ahead with the next one.
At Stuart Green 2018 on Twitter asks, does the team have Plan B waves planned if MCU content is pushed back, delayed, or canceled?
Oh man, Stuart Green, you don't understand how relevant this question is just today. Cause oh man. So we do not have Plan B waves. Most of the times, if content gets pushed or switched up, we just kind of need to roll with the punches. And if it's not too late, we make changes, whether it be character selection or potentially moving a whole wave to a different, on shelf date. That happened a lot with Eternals and Black Widow and Shang-Chi. at like during the pandemic, to be honest. And yeah, like we don't really go into the development cycle thinking of a plan B wave, to be honest. We usually just try to shift around some of the other waves that happen.
And
But yeah, like
I,
changes in content happen all the time.
I was gonna say this is actually a good opportunity. I don't think a lot of people understand the kind of like life cycle. So like just real quick, like what's the general amount of time it takes from like inception of a wave to production? What's that timeline like roughly?
I guess like from it ranges between, depending on the complexity, it can range from 12 months to 18 months, I would say. And there's a long process of going back and forth with like when we get concept art for a lot of these new entertainment pieces. And there's just, it takes a long time to actually make these mass amount of quantities of these action figures. And so to your point, I don't think people realize how long it does take. So it can range between 12 to 18 months, I would say.
So that would make it very, very difficult to have something plan B ready because, you know, if a date shifts 6 months out, you're already halfway through the process.
Yeah, it's very challenging sometimes, and so it just gives us an opportunity to really be really adaptive as a team. I'm not gonna lie, it's frustrating sometimes, and but it is part of the nature of this beast. You know what I mean? And yeah, but it's a great question though.
All right, so this next one comes from friends of the pod, Justin and Dave from Bandai. And this is less of a question and more of a challenge, but they would like to formally challenge the Marvel Legends team to a friendly Nerf battle, maybe at next San Diego Comic
Ooh,
Con. When the sun
ooh,
goes down, the Nerf guns go up. What do you say? Are you up
wow,
for the challenge?
man! So shout out to Justin and Dave. Like to be totally honest with you guys, I just met them at San Diego Comic Con this year, and it's been a blast. Like we were talking about this as a joke. Like it would have been dope if we started like almost like a like Bandai versus has like Marvel Legend type of beef kind of thing to like cause like PR disruption. You know what I mean? And I joked, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna shoot you strays with my Nerf blaster." You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Um, but those guys are awesome. I don't know if it's. I haven't really trained myself in marksmanship when it comes to a Nerf blaster, but I have a lot of good friends at Nerf team right now, and they've been showing me some new innovation in their Nerf blasters. So I'll give them. I'll make sure Justin and Dave, they get like some of these off-brand Nerf blasters, and I'll get like the high-tech, newest Nerf produced blasters there are. I think I feel like Ryan, myself, and Dwight can like. I think we can take them on. We'll see.
Yeah, and they can enlist either AJ or they have another Dave Clark over there for their number three if necessary.
All right.
But you have a direct line to Murph the Nerf guy. So I don't know, man. Murph's got some secrets and you've got access to them. So I
Yo,
don't know
I'll
if
be
they're
honest.
biting off more
I
they
don't
can
have the
chew.
I don't have the best relationship with Murph because he likes to do these sneak attack ambushes. And the first time I ever like encountered Murph, he like shot me like in my behind like randomly. And like anytime anybody surprises me down there, I'm just like, all right, we're about to get physical. You know what I mean? But then like the TikTok guy was there, like recording the whole thing, so I had to like bite my tongue and like just hold back and be like smile, like doing a fake smile to be like, "Oh, that was fun." You know what I mean?
It could have been worse. It could have been Gritty.
It's true. It's true. He
Yeah.
reminds me of Gritty though so much,
He
but
does
yeah.
have a Gritty vibe. He does have a Gritty vibe. Well, with that, Dan, you have survived the Q&A round. So congratulations.
No, thank you
Um,
for all the questions.
and
Appreciate it.
uh, and that takes us now to our final question. Dave, would you like to fulfill your role as this podcast's James Lipton and ask Dan the final question?
Yes, the final question that we ask to all of our guests. What is your favorite and/or strangest piece in your collection? It can be one of each, or it can be both.
Oof, this is such a hard question. I know I should have prepared for this because I know this is the last question for every guest. But so I'm gonna say I. This is slightly embarrassing, but one of the oldest pieces that I have in my collection is a Beanie Baby named Blizzard. It's a white tiger with blue eyes, and I love it because one of my oldest like church members from my dad's old church, she gave it to me. And she gave it to me because you know how Beanie Babies in the tag it has like birthdays?
Yeah.
And like the birthday was matching my birthday. And she said, you're gonna be like a tiger when you grow up, like always brave and courageous. And like that's always stuck by me. She meant a lot to me. And for me, when I was growing up, we didn't grow up super wealthy, so I didn't have a collection of toys, to be honest with you. I had a hodgepodge of just like one-off like toys. So I had a one Spider-Man, one like Robin figure, one you guys know Dragonflies? It's like
Yeah, it was the boy version of the the thing where you pull and it spins and flies in the
yeah,
air.
yeah,
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 yeah.
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 So I had one of those guys and I had Blizzard, the Beanie Baby. And like Blizzard would be like the tiger that in my mind, like he or she would be the animal that like guides everybody in our quests, right? And that collection of action figures, unfortunately, I like somebody stole my Spider-Man, I lost my Robin, and I think my mom threw away the Dragonflies character. And so the only thing that's remaining from that original collection is Blizzard. And so if I ever like lost that, that would break my heart. You know what I mean? So for me right now, I would say that's the strangest and my favorite in my collection because it's like the most not action figure-ish kind of thing there. So yeah, I think that's Blizzard is the one. I still know exactly where it is and everything, and I want to really pass it on to if I ever have kids. Like I want to pass it down. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Nothing to be embarrassed about there,
Not
dude.
at all.
Well, listen, Dan, this has been awesome conversation. But before we let you go, tell us where can people find you on social media? Where can they find Hasbro? And I think you have an announcement to make in terms of a little trip that you're taking over to England.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, where are you going with this? But yeah, for me, you can find me mostly for toy stuff on Twitter. I am at Dan Yoon is trying. I have an IG too, but that's mostly not toy related stuff, and it's a private person, more personal, I would say. So don't try to find me there. Yeah, and the announcement that you're alluding to is, yeah, I will be in London for MCM London at the end of the month, and I'll be joined by my fellow Hasbro brothers and sister. I got BMAC from Transformers. I think Patrick is going for Star Wars, and the one and only Emily will be coming for GI Joe. Love to meet and talk with some of the UK fans over there. So if you're nearby that last week of October, please come through. You know what I mean?
Awesome. And of course, where can folks back that beautiful engine of vengeance?
Yeah, the Engine of Vengeance is still going on strong until Halloween. Halloween is the last day to back it. You can find it at HasbroPulse.com. We also have an app, the Hasbro Pulse app, wherever you find or download apps, I guess. So yeah, if you want an Engine of Vengeance, if you like the Goblin Queen, if you like Mephisto, if you like Robbie Reyes, come through, support it. I know it's still contentious, but it's honestly an awesome HasLab, and hopefully you guys will back it. Last plug that I want to just put out there is, it's that time of season where a lot of charities are going to be looking for donations. So whatever local charity you have, if you don't decide to back the HasLab, or even if you do back the HasLab, yeah, I really encourage everybody to take some time to look at their local charities and support them.
Awesome. Dan, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thank you,
this was
Dan.
great having you.
Yo, no, for real. I really want to talk to you guys offline about more sports stuff later, and yeah, we'll definitely catch MLS game. And thank you so much for having me. Continue to do the good work. And everybody at Adventures in Collecting Podcast, thank you so much for having me.
Dave, send us home.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both on our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer, Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.